finished using the Dehancer app on iOS and iPadOS. Hey, my name is Chris and I'm a photographer, videographer based in Sydney. I love Dehancer. I use Dehancer on all my videos. I used it in DaVinci Resolve as a plugin. Love everything about it. Use it extensively. And when Dehancer reached out to me asking if I want to try their iOS or iPadOS app, I was like, bring it in. So I've been testing this app for a couple weeks, more like a couple days. And the easiest way to describe the app is that it's a portable version of the Dehancer you know on your editing software. But then I use it exclusively or mostly for photos. So you know Dehancer, it gives you the film emulation look, the film profile, the filmic look that you want for your video. But here with the iOS app or the iPadOS app, you can actually use it for both photos and videos. But I tested it with photos and I liked it. It gives me a way to add film look to my photos without actually having my laptop around. So for example, when I'm out and about, maybe doing some photo shoots, or when I'm traveling, or whenever I just don't have my laptop with me, I think the app really shines. Where let's say if I want to do a quick behind the scene photos, I want to do a quick promotional video, promotional photos, I would use this app for those kind of things. But I don't see it as a replacement for my Lightroom or Photoshop. The best way to describe how I use it is I would still edit all my photos in Lightroom or in Photoshop, get as much of the raw look out of it first. So for example, control your highlights, control your shadows, put some contrast into it, adjust a little bit of the exposure, make sure it looks right before finally adding the film touches into your photos. I'll show you how it works. So when you first open the app, you will see either all photos or videos which you can choose from. And here I've got photos. And then what it will prompt you is it'll ask you to create a new project file, which I already did, and it's called camping. Here you can see that this is how it looks originally, one of the photos. When you open a photo or video in Dehancer, you can begin by choosing the presets that is already in the film tab up here. So when you're in media, you can choose which photos you want to edit first in that project folder. And then when you choose one, you can go to film, and then film is where you would start. And even if you like it, you can just export it the way it is. For this one, I think I chose Extreme. I don't know which one I chose, but I think it was Agfa. So this is original. I think I chose Agfa Color XRC 200. Maybe for some of you, you think, oh, this looks great already, ready to export. But if you want to go beyond and have more specific control, you can go to the lab tab, and then here you find either basic or advanced. Basic is like, for example, you're gonna adjust your exposure and the contrast and temperature, or how much you want it to affect your photos. But if you want to go even more, go to advanced. So you go to this advanced tab. So and then from there, you can then choose the tools like, for example, push and pull, expand, print, color head, film grain, etc, etc, etc. And then you can actually have a look at what you had before. So let's say when you feel like you've gone too much, you can always halt, and then it will show the original where you were before, as in like the original photos before you make any changes, so you know that how much processing have you put in the photos. And to me, photo editing is very much not going by the book. I know there's some editing that goes by the book. For example, like you look at the histogram and try to, you know, not overexpose, not overshadow, not blow up the highlights, not darken the shadow too much. But then again, I feel like you can do whatever you want. And in this specific mode, in this specific type of editing and putting, you know, this is more very in a creative way. Like editing in a creative way is different from editing professionally. Even though some professional photo shoots also are looking for your creative choices. So, you know, experiment, like all these settings. When you click on all of them, feel free to experiment, see what you like. And I think that's the fastest way to learn as well, by just experimenting, because you can always undo. So try it out and go crazy. And then I think with these photos, if I'm not mistaken, I had grain on them. So if I go to film grain, here you can see, you can even have a you can have a profile that you can choose from, like a preset that is presetted already. So you can either choose 8mm, and you can zoom in, by the way, you can zoom in to see how much grain or how much the effects has been applied. For example, 8mm, I would expect it to be more grainy than usual because how 8mm film. And if you compare to, let's say, for example, a 35 ISO 50, which is like slightly gonna be softer. For this one, I'll choose like maybe 16mm ISO 250. See how you see that grain pops out. And then if you select one of the presets, it only can give you the amount, and you can always still set how much you want it to be. So I think I'll have it around like 29. And again, if you choose custom, then you would go back to having all the options. And then I think I had halation on as well. So if you see on my friend's glasses, and also kind of like maybe affected processing because you can see the grain changes as well. But here you can either see if you push more, then you can see, like, for example, before and after, see the halation coming in. I would usually put it around 50. And then again, with all the settings down here, like, limiter, gain, smoothness, play around with it. Sometimes it could be a happy accident. And particularly, sometimes people say the less the better, or even, more is better. But different images give you different tastes. Different images produce different vibe. So you really have to experiment with each photos that you want to. It depends on how you want to convey the message. How do you want to do I want to show this as nostalgic? Do I want to show this as futuristic? So you just gotta try. And usually, if I feel like I've done a lot of settings, I would then always try to compare with original, and then you would then know, like, you start to get the hang out of it. Because sometimes you come into a photo, you don't know what you want it to look like. But by experimenting, you will start developing, oh, maybe this will look great. Oh, maybe this is something that I want it to look like. And then it will slowly develop. And I feel like the biggest advantage of using Dehancer on your phone or on your iPad is, like I said in the beginning, you can be wherever you want. You can be wherever, whenever. If you don't have your laptop with you, Dehancer on the Dehancer app, or in DaVinci, or in Lightroom, this is a quick solution. Like, for example, just a quick promotion on social media. Maybe like you're behind the scene, you want to post a story, or you want to post some photos. Give it a quick edit, export, post. And with your phone, you can quickly transfer. For example, even when you have your laptop with you, you can transfer your photos. You can airdrop it to your phone, process it, and then just post straight away on your phone. If let's say you want it to be a very easy, non-complicated post, and obviously if it's a professional photo shoot, commercial photo shoot, I would use the Dehancer. For example, like when I'm doing weddings, or when I'm doing video, like a professional video, I will still lean on the Dehancer plugin. But for quick proof for social media, I think this is a no-brainer. I have tried using raw photos directly in the app. I wouldn't say it's the best experience yet. I believe they are working on it, but it's obviously different when you are processing the photos raw in Lightroom or in Photoshop. It's like a trade-off. It's like you get portability, you get convenience, but at the same time, that's what laptops are for. But then when you need something very heavy and very refined, then you will go back to the full suite of what Dehancer offers on laptop. At the time of filming, Dehancer's mobile plan costs around $6 USD, if I'm not mistaken. So that's like around 72 a year. And the plan includes 2 seats. I think to close, for me, again, this app is not to replace my main editing software. Comes as a companion for me when I'm, out and about, when I'm on public transport, when I'm somewhere remote without access to my laptop, then this will come in handy. And that's about it. That's the Dehancer app on iOS and iPadOS. If you find this video useful, give it a thumbs up, subscribe. And I don't post often, but I am an AV technician. I'm a photographer, I'm a videographer full-time. I also do film photography, large format photography. So I've got a couple of content in my mind that I would like to post. So stay tuned, and if you wanna watch my other videos, go ahead. I have a quick B-roll video that was edited with Dehancer. You can go check it out. There's a reason why I like Dehancer so much. And yeah, hopefully in the future I can post more creative tips, more production workflow, and just audiovisual technology in general. If you want to try Dehancer, I've got a link in the description, or use my code FinalSushi10 if it will give you 10% for your purchase. So thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next time.